Again, this is Beth, author of Pilates for hip and knee syndromes and Arthoplasties. And on this video clip, I'm here with all of you today to talk a little bit more about the book and the details in the book, so that if you're an instructor or a physical therapist, you know a little bit more about the internal ingredients and how to use it. But first, before I get there, I want to talk a little bit about some prevalence rates and what's going on in the industry. Well, for joint replacements, the prevalence rates are on an increase. By 2015, they will have doubled. Over 600,000 annual hips, and can you believe this? 1.4 million knees. Now, all of this doubles and triples again by the year 2030. Projected over 1 million hips. Projection for knees is up to 4 million. That's quite a big jump. But you may be asking why. And well, there are probably many reasons. But the first one is that there is a much younger clientele expecting full function and not wanting to live without pain. And that prevalence rate is quite high, over 50%. And those are people with an age of 45 to 65 who want to go back being and having the function they had before they had their knee or hip syndrome that caused them or led them down the pipe to a replacement. All right, Pilates for hip and knee syndromes and Arthoplasties talks about syndromes and joint replacements. And let me tell you how we do that. Well, it was discussed that after PT, the average hip or knee client does not always get involved in movements that can really build the integrity of the joint and the alignment of the body, which is a key to keeping the integrity of the joint. The average PT could be a week for a hip and maybe up to 8 weeks for a knee. That's for a motivated client. For some clients, that PT could go a lot longer depending on the individual needs, as you all know. Pilates bridges the gap, and it gives movements, exercises that are ideal for this population and can be designed into a whole program. So let's take a look about what the book offers. In the beginning, I just want to point out, I'll go into the chapters in just a minute, but there is a key code for the exercises, and this key code is important. I took all the movements that are done in this book and designed them into pre-Pilates, 6 weeks to 3 months, 3 months to 6 months, and 6 months and beyond. Now, those movements are in this key code, so if you were just looking for one particular movement, let's say the 100, and which is one of the classical movements of Joseph Pilates, you'd go in alphabetical order, look for the 100, and see, and at 6 weeks it's on page 35. So this is very helpful. But let's talk about the chapters. The book was designed and set up to build the information. Chapter 1 and 2 are on the hip and the knee. The anatomy, the discussion on the non-surgical and surgical treatments, and even how the surgical treatments are done. And there's a companion colored anatomy in the back of the book to assist with those chapters. Chapter 3 is about setting up the foundation. And this chapter is really important because in that chapter we talk all about two things. A, the movements, and B, the range of motion guidelines that are specified on an average basis for knees and hips postoperatively, depending on their surgical preference. I started with the material comes from Joseph Pilates' original works, Return to Life or Controlology, and the Pilates Method Alliance Guide. I took his classical movements, which are beginner, intermediate, advanced systems for the mat, giving that as an idea, and broke them into 2 further tables, 1 table for the knee and 1 table for the hip. Taking all those movements in the beginner, intermediate, advanced system, I then broke them further into the categories of 6 weeks to 3 months, 3 months to 6 months, and 6 months and beyond. Then each chapter thereafter showcases one of those categories with those movements, with modifications. Clearly, more modifications and more opportunities for structure and support in the chapter that shows 6 weeks to 3 months, which was chapter 4. Chapter 5 is material showcasing 3 to 6 months and 6 months and beyond. Chapter 6 is an entire chapter of all the sidekick series, which are done on each side with very many variations upon a theme expanded upon what Joseph Pilates designed in his original work. Chapter 7 continues with program sequences, whether it is a syndrome or whether it is a joint replacement. And I give you, for the hip and the knee replacement, several program sequences, as well as showcasing several syndromes with program sequences in Chapter 7. In addition to all the things that I've just described, there is a key code in the front of the book that allows you access to a web-based server with 2 additional chapters. The first chapter is all of the equipment: the reformer, the trapeze table, the chairs, and the barrels. Designing those movements into things that are 6 weeks to 3 months, 3 to 6, and 6 months and beyond, and syndromes in tables to help you as an instructor know when to offer the movement, when not to offer the movement, and maybe to offer some additional modifications or ways to get to that movement. The next chapter on the web-based server describes how to find a qualified training program to become an instructor, or how to learn more about the Pilates Method Alliance, which is a third-party certifying body in the United States as well as nationally and internationally. Well, it's been a terrific thing being here with all of you, and I hope you've learned a little bit more about the book. There's one more thing I will leave you with. This book was written in a way with the exercises having a lot of white space, so that each movement has its own space and own page, so that the exercises can be used as a home-based program for your clients. So you can make copies and send them home to do A, B, C, and D, as you have thought that you need. I thank you again, and if you would like to speak to me, give me a call or contact me at beth@bethclinic.com. Take care, and again, have a wonderful day. Bye now.